Hey everyone, so welcome back to my Intro to Cycling series. This is part 2. In part 1, I talked to you about helmets, so just click right here if you'd like to see that. In this part, I'm going to be talking to you about cycling apparel. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it.
Banownage!
Alright, so you have your new bike, you have your helmet, and you're excited to ride. That's awesome. But first, let's get some cycling apparel. There are several reasons to wear cycling specific clothing, and that is comfort, convenience, and aerodynamics. On the comfort side of things, regular clothing is loose and it's tough, and when you're riding a bike for a long distance or you're getting into it for sport, you're riding a lot, that's gonna rub and chafe. So you'll get awful chafing, and it's awful. The second reason, which is convenience, cycling jerseys and jackets have pockets built into the back, so you can put your energy bars and your keys and your wallet, all that stuff. Anything you want to bring on your rides goes right back here. It's out of the way. The third reason, which is aerodynamics, right? Because if you wear cycling clothing, it's tight fitting, and it won't flap around in the wind and slow you down, or it won't even get caught in the chain or the spokes and get dirty and all that stuff. So your normal clothing stays nice and clean, and your cycling clothing, you use that for the rides, and that gets dirty, but that's fine. And you're going faster also because of the aerodynamics. So I'm just going to go through all the areas of clothing. I'm going to show you some of my cycling clothing just to give you a visual and example. I'm going to start off with the lower body clothing. I'm going to go to the upper body clothing. Then I'm going to show you gloves, and then I'm going to show you footwear. So now I'm going to show you my lower body clothing. I have 2 pairs of my cycling shorts here. There's 2 different variations. So first there's this variation, which ends at the waist like a normal pair of shorts. And then there's this variation, which has these suspender-like things here that go around your shoulders to secure the shorts. Just pick either of these based on your own personal preference or experience. The other thing about cycling shorts is they have a comfort feature, which is padding right here on the shorts. One thing to really make sure of is that you like the feel of the padding, and especially make sure that the stitching at the end seems like it would be comfortable. Make sure it's not rough or kind of jagged or anything like that. You don't want it rubbing on your legs, because remember, the whole point of cycling shorts is to eliminate chafing. Now, in addition to cycling shorts, you also have leg covers. These help keep your legs warm when it's cold outside. I have a pair for you right here. And as you can see, there's an elastic band at the top that helps secure it. You place these on your thigh, you pull them up, and then you pull the cycling shorts over the top. So these go underneath the cycling shorts. And then you also have a zipper at the bottom here, and that helps secure it at your ankle. They also sell one pieces, but I prefer to just use these. These work fine. I don't find that I get too cold in the waist because I'm generating a lot of heat from there. Next, I'd like to show you upper body clothing. So here you have a cycling jersey, and as you can see, as I mentioned before, there's these little pouches on the back, and that helps keep your items nice and secure while you're on the bike. And it's in the back, so it's not wind, it's not flapping around, and easy access, just go and reach it. So I find these very convenient. And the other thing about cycling clothing and jerseys and shorts in particular is that they're going to be tight fitting, right? And the reason for that is you don't want extra fabric in the wind flapping around. So just when you try these on, they should be a little bit tight. It should be against your skin, no extra fabric. So it's going to fit different than normal clothing. Tight, but not so tight that it's really uncomfortable. Here's another piece of clothing, which is Under Armour that I use. This helps keep me warm when it's colder outside. So what I do is I just place this underneath my jersey, and I tuck it underneath the shorts as well. So that helps me keep me pretty warm in the winter. I'll do this setup with the jersey on top, and I'll use that to about 50 degrees, 40, maybe 40 degrees sometimes. And next we have a jacket. So when it's really cold outside, you know, 30 and below, low 40s sometimes, I'll use my Under Armour and then I'll put my jacket on top. So when you buy a cycling jacket, you want it to also have some pouches in the back, and you also want it to be a bright, visible color, because in the winter, you know, it's much darker outside. You can also see that there's some reflective material in here. So make sure that you're seeing, it should be pretty warm on the inside and wind resistant on the outside. So this is a pretty good combination with an Under Armour when it's, you know, 30, 20 degrees or even lower. It keeps you quite warm. You don't need much more than this unless it's like really, like you live somewhere where it's like insanely cold. And beyond that, I have 2 other pieces of clothing. One here, which is kind of like for the fall, which is just a little windbreaker. So like 60 degrees, you know, 50 degrees. And here, you know, they gave this to me at the Mount Washington road race. And then also I have a reflector vest. This is, I would heavily recommend that if you're riding in the dark and you're wearing like dark clothing, put on the reflector vest. It's vital that cars see you, otherwise they'll get hit. So now I'm going to show you my gloves that I wear. Here are a pair. These are just some regular biking gloves, some cycling gloves. They're kind of a hefty pair, so I choose to go with a hefty pair. Not super hefty, but like quite warm. You can also get like light gloves, but those are good mostly for like the fall or spring. But I choose to just have one pair of gloves. If it's a little warm outside, I just kind of deal with it. You know, it's a little sweaty, but I like to keep it simple and have just one pair of gloves. If it gets really cold, like, you know, in the teens and stuff, it's probably a good idea to have like another light pair of gloves so you can slip them inside, so you have like 2 layers. So now I'd like to move on to footwear. And here I have a pair of cycling specific shoes. These are really important to get because, as you can see here, there's cleats. Mine are really worn out and I need to get new shoes. But there's cleats that click right into the pedals. The pedals come with it, so it's a system. But these click right into the pedals and they allow you to get more power from your pedal stroke. So instead of just pushing down on your pedals like you do with standard pedals, these allow you to pull back and to pull up. So you get more power out of a full pedal stroke. These are really important. Now moving on, there's more footwear I'd like to show you. These are shoe covers. So when it gets cold outside, the cycling shoes aren't going to be enough. Those are good for the summer, but in the winter, the cold air comes right through them and your feet are going to get numb. So what you want is a pair of shoe covers. These just slip over the shoe, and you can see they have holes for the cleats and the heel, and they like just zip up and Velcro in the back and keep your feet nice and warm. In addition to shoe covers, we also have foot insulators that go underneath your shoe and over your socks. So these help provide some extra warmth. I find them pretty useful when it gets to, you know, into the 20s or into the teens. You need a little extra warmth, and the shoe covers don't quite cut it. But these combined with the shoe covers are going to keep your feet nice and warm. So that just about covers everything. There are a few other things like, you know, headwear and you know, maybe ski masks and things like that. But I don't use those because where I live, it doesn't get like crazy cold. So I just wear a helmet in the winter and nothing on my face. It gets a little bit cold and it's a little harsh in the face, but you kind of get used to it. Maybe your nose gets a little dry in your cheeks, but I kind of tough it out and I'm usually okay. It's mostly the hands and the feet that, even the fingers and the toes specifically, that get the most cold. And you really need to have gloves and, you know, shoe covers and all that. So that's just about it. And if you get all these things, it'll really enhance your cycling experience, make it more enjoyable. And I highly recommend that you go out and purchase some of this apparel. So hope these tips have helped you, and hope to see you in the next video. Take it easy.